You're watching WHO TV 13 Des Moines, your 24-hour news source. This is Newscenter 13 at 10.
We're just trying to get everybody off this freeway if we can, because like I say, I've got 5 accidents behind me right now.
Traffic on I-235 reduced to a crawl tonight following a series of accidents. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A chain reaction on I-235 injured 8 to 10 people, and at least 2 of them were small children.
It happened shortly after 6 this evening, involving 5 vehicles in both the east and westbound lanes. Now, investigators are still trying to make sense of the confusion and determine the cause of the accident. We do know a 2-year-old was ejected from one of the vehicles. Following the accident on I-235 tonight, a family of 5 in this van ended up at Iowa Methodist Medical Center. Hospital officials say they're very lucky. At this hour, a 7-year-old is known to be in fair condition, as well as a 2-year-old. Authorities say the 2-year-old was ejected from the vehicle. On the scene, officers were trying to sort out what happened and get traffic moving again.
I got 8-10 people injured. I don't even know where everybody's at right now. We're just trying to get everybody off this freeway if we can, because like I say, I've got 5 accidents behind me right now.
The uninjured people involved in this chain reaction stayed behind to help police with the investigation.
The silver car was heading westbound, veered in front of me. We turned to avoid the car and struck its left front fender. We did a complete 180 and we're facing into the traffic.
We were slowing down for the lights on the accident ahead of us, and was just about stopped, and we got hit by a car behind us and just pushed right into the car in front of us, so we just got sandwiched in between the 2 cars.
Authorities say no doubt wet pavement made things much worse. Still, they feel lucky no one was killed. And hospital officials say tonight that others involved in the accident were treated and released with minor injuries.
Some breaking news from Dubuque tonight. Authorities say they have arrested another person in connection with a series of cross burnings in that city the past week. 30-year-old William David Allen turned himself into Dubuque authorities around 8 o'clock tonight. He's been charged with possession of an incendiary device. Authorities say they've had a warrant out for his arrest since last Friday. In Dubuque, members of a city task force say they're considering changes and a plan to recruit blacks to that city. The announcement comes on the heels of 2 more cross-burning incidents over the weekend. The latest took place last night in a residential neighborhood. Friday night, a cross was found burning in the front yard of a Dubuque elementary school. That cross burning came less than 2 hours after police made an initial arrest. 19-year-old David Simpson charged again with possession of an incendiary device. Dubuque residents spent the weekend tying multicolored ribbons to trees and telephone poles. They hope to show that the majority of the community is united against the hate crimes going on there. Community leaders speaking out tonight about the cross burnings to help Dubuque residents cope and understand.
What's creeping in here, this attitude, even among a few, the majority have to stand up and they have to be counted and they have to speak out against what is happening, even though it involves only a small group of people.
I feel that we have to set the record straight, show the image of Dubuque for what it is, a courageous city that's trying to take on some race relation problems and get ourselves advanced into the 21st century.
The problems in Dubuque are causing concern across central Iowa. It was the topic at many a church service today. Newscenter 13's Mary Mills sat in on a sermon that focused on the cross burnings.
Parishioners who attended morning mass at St. John's Basilica were reminded of the racial unrest troubling Dubuque. During his homily, Father Frank Chido denounced the recent cross burnings.
I readily think of those poor, hate-filled souls in Dubuque who do not know that the Civil War is over.
Father Chido says he was so disturbed by the cross burnings that he had to talk about it.
Worst case scenario is that it's reflective of a degenerating attitude in society today with regard to those eternal values, such as human rights.
Though apparently the work of a small minority, many fear the cross burnings have cast a dark shadow over not just Dubuque, but the entire state.
It's just unfortunate. You just don't expect it here.
We should really learn to love our neighbors instead of having hatred, but it seems like there's always a little prejudice in all of us, and it's something that we all have to overcome.
While many were glad to see the issue addressed in church, few knew of any solutions.
It's going to take a lot to solve the problem. A lot of people just trying to understand one another better and trying just to get along.
If you can look at the good in someone's heart, that's what can be done.
Many here will no doubt heed the call by state Democrats yesterday to pray for a resolution. In Des Moines, Mary Mills, News Center 13.
And Mary tells us several churches in Dubuque are working on ways to help end the tension. The defeat of ex-Klansman David Duke had a lot of people sighing with relief and supporters of Edwin Edwards cheering.
Thank you.
The new governor-elect says he's ready for a fresh start. This will be Edwards' fourth term in office, but his three previous terms were clouded with charges of buying support. Still, Louisiana residents handed him the governor's office with 61% of the vote. He's being called the lesser of two evils.
An apparent Colombian cocaine ring busted in Houston this weekend. Local authorities working with the IRS seized $500,000 in cash and 86 kilograms of cocaine. The drugs have a street value of more than $8 million. FBI agents in Houston say 6 Colombian nationals have been arrested. A student at the University of Illinois, missing since last August, was found walking along a gravel road near Tampa, Florida last night. The woman told authorities she was abducted and freed herself yesterday after being tied to a tree in a remote area. The FBI is looking for her alleged abductors tonight. A Massachusetts family got a bizarre scare this weekend when a wild deer broke through their sliding glass door and ransacked their house. The deer broke several pieces of glassware, gouged the hardwood floors, and dented the washing machine before breaking out another window and escaping. And 3 people died in the Pacific Ocean last night when their sailboat caught fire off the coast of San Diego. One man was found alive on the boat when rescue teams arrived, but he died on the way to the hospital.
High gusting winds knocked out power lines throughout Seattle, Washington today. Tens of thousands of people were left in the dark tonight by the windstorm. The power outages were widespread after the low pressure system over the area spawned thunderstorms and hail. Now, despite the devastating winds, there are no reports of injuries or major damage. We've had a lot of trouble right here at home. Rain, gloom, fog. Let's go to Jerry Reno for our first look at the forecast. Jerry?
Boy, I'll say we've kind of had a mixed bag here.